Welcome back to Briggs on Books, an international talk show where we talk to authors from all over the world about their books, about their ideas, about their process. How do they get it done? How does anybody finish writing a book, put the pencil down, and get it published? There's so many great steps in there. We're going to talk about this book today, Beneath the Pillars of Hercules. Not only do I have the book, I have the author here. Let me see if I can find him. There he is. Welcome to D.G. McCool. Welcome, D.G.
Thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Now, this is a book. It's the first of a series. Is that right?
Yes, this is book one of a new series.
A new series. And this is kind of sci-fi, fantasy.
Yeah, this particular book, the Leandros Chronicles, it's a mixture of historical fact mixed in with some sci-fi, and then, of course, there's some fantasy. So it's a real blend.
My favorite genre is historical stuff mixed in. Things that really happen, right? What era is this?
It's going to be at 500 BCE or 500 BC, depending on how you say it.
How you say it. So it's a time that I'm not that familiar with, so maybe I'll learn something in the book.
Sure.
Because you don't just make up parts, but you actually draw from real happenings.
Exactly. Do you want me to go ahead and just talk about it?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Yeah, on this particular book, on this series, it starts out at, like we stated, 500 BCE, just off the coast of Greece and Mediterranean Sea. And you've got our primary character, Leandros, and he's a Greek warrior, and he's on a ship that's sailing west. And then a set of events happen with a storm, and then something falls out of the sky and crashes their ship, and everyone's tossed into the sea, and he's kind of miraculously saved by a woman who turns out to be, and it's on the front cover, so it's a mystery, it's a mermaid. And then at that point, the story really kind of takes off, and we delve into Atlantis, which is beneath the Pillars of Hercules. And then from there, it once he gets there, it falls into a little bit of a love story. Then he joins up with some of the Atlanteans who are going to try to rescue some of their comrades who are over in Central America. And when they get there, then they find out there's an alien group has landed there and are influencing the Olmec and the Mayans. This was towards the end of the Olmec civilization and really the beginning of the Mayans. So
amazing, yeah. It reminds me a little bit of the Odyssey and an epic journey.
Exactly. Well, the character is actually from Ithaca, which is where Odysseus was from.
Yeah.
I did that on purpose.
Nice. That's very interesting. By the way, the cover, you commented on it. It's very dramatic. And
thank you.
Where do your covers come from?
Well, in this particular one, I did it myself.
You did? Wow.
Some of the newer covers we have, I've actually went out and played around with software.
Yeah.
In the past, most of them I would purchase them online.
Yeah, but this one's amazing. It's really dramatic. It pulls you in.
Thank you.
And I mean, how do we pick our next book, DG? I think, I like to hear from authors. I like to hear what they say about the book. The covers help. I mean, there's thousands of books out there. How do you pick? So hopefully somebody will see this little interview and say, "Wow, I want to read that book," because D.G. McCool is a great. I keep wanting to say cool. D.G. McCool is cool. I'm trying to avoid saying that, but it just slips out. Now, you have some other series or other books?
Yes, previously we had talked about, I had the series The Dark World, and it had a book 1, 2, and 3 that were out, and we interviewed those earlier this year. But in August, as part of the refresh, we went into all 3 of the primary books, Messenger Dreams, Ancient Ones Revealed, and The Warriors of the Heavens and Earth, and refreshed the covers. I was at a book show in August in Dallas, a large one, and I noticed a lot of the people in my area have some kind of flashy book covers, and my previous were what I liked, and they told the story, but they just weren't as kind of eye-catching as some of the other people sitting in the booths around me, so we did this refresh.
And like I say, how do you pick your next book? There's so many, and the cover can grab you, the author can grab you, and of course, the genre. A lot of people stick to a certain genre. I switch all over the place, and I'm more of a nonfiction guy. But if the novel has a historical aspect to it, that'll draw me in as well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, like you may remember, I do have a couple other books that we've talked about, and some of them are ghost stories, and
Hmm.
some of them are nonfiction, and a book about how to prepare for the Civil War and
Yeah,
next Civil
that's
War,
right.
and then the sci-fi stuff. And I have a whole new series, Paranormal, coming after the first year.
Hmm.
Book four of the series you just looked at, Dark World, will be released in the next few weeks, and
Yeah.
so I'm keeping busy.
Now, what is your pace, DG? I mean, you're.
Yeah, normally on a normal book, it takes me about 90 days from when I start. And we kind of discuss this, but the way I kind of do the books, I kind of write the prologue and the epilogue initially and do a real light outline of the book, and then I pantser it from A to Z, and then go back, of course, and go through all the edits and do all the other
Yeah.
things. And a lot of times, as I create the prologue epilogue, I'll actually create the cover,
Ah.
and the cover kind of sets my pace of what I want it to sound and look like
Yeah.
as I go through the book.
So, do you have a daily routine?
Yeah, actually, right now I retired from my 9 to 5 at the
Yeah.
first of the year, and so pretty much 7 days a week I get up and come into my little computer office and I start looking at the books I'm already working on, and
Hmm.
I actually have multiple books that I'm working on, and I'll figure out which one do I feel energized to pick up, start reading, and work on it. So I'll work till I'll just take breaks during the day, and sometimes work 8 a.m. till midnight.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon.
Nice. Well, when you're in it, I would imagine.
Exactly, because I try to explain to people, you can't just. Well, I've said before, but I see all my books like a movie, and I'm
Hmm.
watching a movie. I put on that headset, I speak into the mic, I record it, to text. I go back and play it back as audio, and so it's just a continuing thing. You don't want to turn off a good movie in the middle of
Yeah,
it, right? And
that's
then
right.
have to come back and figure out where you're at.
You
So
use the same headset like you're using now to
this
dictate,
exact headset,
and you
and I
dictate
open
your
up
book,
Microsoft Word and I start talking, and I have no problem talking.
and then it converts it to text.
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
then I can go back in, and Microsoft Word has the read aloud feature, so it'll actually read back, and I can hear if I use the wrong word or it doesn't
Yeah.
sound quite right. And then using your Grammarly and all these other
Yeah.
tools out there, you can clean up the what
Yeah.
you've written.
I think I'm pretty good at writing and spelling and grammar, but man, that Grammarly catches me all the time.
Right,
So,
right.
what a great tool! You're using all the tools. You're a
I try
20.
to. I
You're a
try to.
21st century author,
Yeah,
DG.
right.
Let's get back to the subject at hand. This book, Beneath the Pillars of Hercules, and that's an amazing period. It's like a Greek epic poem, so to speak.
Right.
And
It is kind of a Greek Odyssey, so to
Greek,
speak, and then when you bring in some science fiction with spacecraft and laser
yeah,
weapons, and then the Atlanteans, who were they, and how do they play into the history of the world, and so all of it's kind of in there, and then by the end of book one, it sets up the next book, book two, and so forth.
and by the way, you say they go to South America,
They go to Central
Central
America. They
America.
actually an Atlantean spacecraft is crashed and is captured by the Mayans, and so the Atlanteans go to retrieve their people. And when they arrive, they realize it's not just the Mayans. There's
It's,
a whole set of well, I think it says it in the blurb, so it's not a big
yeah.
secret. But there's the reptilians from the Dracos constellation have landed in Central America and are influencing the locals there,
Hmm.
and so they become an immediate enemy. And there's all kinds of things happen there in Central America.
And some things that happen in the ancient world are not explainable. How they build pyramids, etc., etc. Do you blend in
Exactly.
some of that with the aliens?
It is kind of referenced
Yeah.
exactly in this, and plus with the Atlanteans themselves, and it kind of says the Atlanteans are the descendants of the Anunnaki,
Yeah.
which some people believe, and so it kind of referenced a lot of that, where the Atlanteans were from the Anunnaki, the reptilians came here from space, and the two groups are fighting for control of the Earth, while the normal people of 500 BC are just running around with their swords and shields and trying to survive.
Yeah. I've said this about D.G. McCool books before. Is it fiction? Because there's something in there that may may ring
Right.
true.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to always historically get everything. And in this particular book, I went to the additional piece in the back of the appendix.
Ah,
It actually has complete details of
wow.
that time frame with all the cultures I bring up in the book. And so it tells you what they were doing, where they were really at, so I could make it authentic to the historical
Yeah.
part,
Is,
yet you mix in the rest.
is there a lot of research that went into this book?
I did some, yes, well, because I always get the idea, and I'll tell you real quick. My wife was coloring a photo of a mermaid
Mm.
on her iPad, and I looked at it, and all of a sudden my brain didn't shut off, and I ran, I jumped on the computer, and I just started writing, and I saw this Greek warrior, and I saw this mermaid, and then I saw, oh, she's
Wow.
actually an Atlantean, and it just story took off.
Yeah,
So
that's great. I can't
yeah.
imagine D.G. McCool's brain shutting off anyway.
It
So,
doesn't.
yeah,
It's unfortunately sometimes it doesn't.
yeah.
Yeah.
DG, we're way past time. I could always talk to you for hours, and they don't let
Sure.
me. But any last thoughts about the book or your future or
No,
anything like that?
yeah, I mean, I'm going to keep on creating books, and hopefully people will love them and read them. And all I always say is, if you want to write, get out there and write.
Yeah.
After you've written it, you'll figure out how you're going to get it published.
Yeah.
And don't ever give up on your dreams.
Yeah, but I love to hear that you sit down at 8 a.m. and go to midnight sometimes. I like to hear about
Yeah.
the discipline of authors.
Yes.
All right, well, our guest is indie author D.G. McCool. By the way, D.G., I have your website on the screen. What will our viewers find there?
You have to go to the first page. They'll see all the books that are
Okay.
actively out there. I think we have 12 published books right now.
Wow.
And they can click on next to each book is a hot link. It'll take you to the Amazon page where you can find an ebook, paperback, and some of them also have hardcovers.
Nice.
Then the other pages are the author review, interview pages like this, and then also video links to certain videos that are posted.
All right, D.G. McCool. Thank you, D.G., and for our viewers, stick around. We're going to have another author right after this.